Being broke, a pain in a lifestyle that I've come to hate. Sometimes I envy people who are born into rich and famous families. Like, imagine how good it must feel to have a Ferrari by the age of 16. Imagine how good it must feel to be able to eat out at any restaurant you want any day of the week, compared to someone like me who's too broke to afford a car, so I gotta bike everywhere. Or rather, should I say I used to bike everywhere because some thief stole my bike last week. Now I gotta walk everywhere. The pain of having no money to buy pretty much anything and having to live off of $4 a week allowance is one that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Nobody, not even the most evil people alive, deserve this type of treatment. Being broke is an experience that makes you realize just how expensive living really is. I can't think of anything worse than having no money. Sometimes I have nightmares of Andrew Tate screaming at me, calling me a brokey and a loser for having no money. Man, I hate this junk, bruh. Why, God? Why me? Do you know how hard it is not to be able to afford anything? Do you know how embarrassing it is having to use a food stamp card in order to buy food? Do you know how terrible it feels having to walk around with a cracked flip phone because you can't afford an iPhone? Today, ladies and gentlemen, I will be taking you through the pain and misery that is being broke. A pain that has been felt by not only me, but maybe even a lot of you watching this video. First, we gotta have to eat trash food. Now, I think we all know how important food is to the development of a growing child. I mean, food is the very thing that every person needs in life in order to survive. Without food, I mean, you'll just die. Plus, I mean, who doesn't enjoy eating food? I mean, I think we all do. Well, if you're broke, you're pretty much limited to eating literal dirt as a meal. But that might be disrespectful to dirt, because even dirt would taste better than some of the stuff I had to eat. Now, being broke, you pretty much have no money to buy any type of quality food. No good snacks, no good beverages, no good home-cooked meals, just straight bread and rich crackers. Also, you pretty much never get to eat out or eat fast food at all. Every time you ask your mom or dad for McDonald's, they always hit you with the classic, "We got McDonald's at home." A line that I know for a fact brought many of us nothing but pain and despair. Only for McDonald's at home to be some stale white bread with turkey meat that don't even look like meat. Like, what is this? This isn't McDonald's. This is McPoverty. Why would I ever disrespect my taste buds by putting this abomination in my mouth? Pause. Having no money to buy food you want or actually like is straight pain. I literally remember having to go weeks at a time on a diet of nothing but chicken flavored ramen noodles and water. I can't even cap though to this day. Those ramen noodles still bust though. Next, we got having to wear cheap clothes. Now, if you've ever had to wear cheap, low quality clothes, you know how trash they are. For one, most cheap clothes are extremely uncomfortable. I've had to wear some clothes that literally felt like I was wearing sandpaper for a shirt. Not to mention the overall durability of these clothes were terrible. One wash in the washing machine and pretty much the entire fit was ruined. You might as well take it and throw it in the dumpster right where it belongs. But what might be worse than wearing cheap clothes is wearing off-brand clothes. Now, if you don't know what off-brand clothes are, they're basically the fake versions of real brands, just way uglier and way worse quality. As a matter of fact, I say we go over some of these off-brand clothes. First, we got Nike, you know, a very classic and high fashion brand. Next, we got Odos. I don't know how high the person was who made this, but clearly he was on a different planet. And then we got the North Fake. This is just getting disrespectful at this point. If you've ever had to wear off-brand clothes before, you would know these are some of the most embarrassing pieces of fabric one can put in their body. Having to walk out the house with an outfit like this is a type of shame that no man should go through. I remember getting exposed for wearing some fake Air Forces by one of my own friends. In the matter of seconds, I had 15 dudes all yelling and clowning me all at the same time. Being broke, you know, you pretty much never get to wear any name brand products. And all the name brand products you supposedly had were fake knockoffs. You know that all your drip comes from either Walmart, a thrift store, or an older sibling. I'm so serious when I say I never had any type of name brand clothing until I was like 15. And even now, like half my clothes are still from Payless. Nike, Adidas, Jordans. The only shoes you were getting were some Shaqs and those off-brand Vans from Walmart. Do you know the pain I went through every day having to go to school with some Shaqs on? You haven't experienced trauma till you have to endure going to school with the fake Adidas hoodie on. How do you even misspell the word Adidas this badly? Even now, reliving these memories makes me want to shed a tear. Next, we got having to use a trash phone, aka an Android. Now, I think it is generally understood that most Androids are awful. Not all, but most. We all know that the iPhone is clearly the better quality phone, outside the fact that a gust of wind could crack most iPhones. The only problem is that most iPhones cost about 2 months worth of rent in your liver. But that's where Androids come in to save the day, because you can get some Androids for absolutely dirt cheap, which of course, you know, fell right in line with my budget. But unfortunately for me, I didn't have one of the high quality Androids. You know, like the Samsungs or an LG. You know, the 1 or 2 brands of Androids that are actually somewhat respectable. No. I had to walk around with some phone called an HTC. Now, if you're wondering what on earth is an HTC, I honestly couldn't tell you. My parents did have me walking around with some prehistoric technology that dates back to the Martin Luther King days, bro. I swear I could have gotten in contact with Abraham Lincoln himself if I wanted to. That's how old and slow the technology on this phone was. I remember trying to get service on this phone was like finding a needle in a haystack. I would literally be walking in circles just to find one spot in my house where I could actually get internet service. And even when I would get internet service on this sad excuse for technology, the internet speeds were terrible. If I ever wanted to watch a YouTube video or just browse the internet, it was borderline impossible. I'm being so for real when I tell you this had to easily be one of the worst pieces of technology that I've ever used. And don't get me started on the camera quality of this thing. One time time I tried to take a selfie of myself just to see how sexy I was. I go to look at the phone, and it looks like I took a pic using a wooden spoon. You couldn't even see what was in the picture. It was literally just a bunch of pixelated colors on the screen. Next, we got being trapped in the house all day. So as you all know, going out to places like movies, restaurants, and even going places like the skating rink or an amusement park are some of the funnest things to do as a teen. I mean, who doesn't like going out and having fun with their friends and family? But there's one minor problem that comes with all of these. You need money. Something that I think all of you can tell I clearly didn't have much of. I remember always hearing my friends talk about how they were going to Six Flags or the movies this weekend, quite literally flexing how much fun they were going to have. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there with the dumbest look on my face, knowing I don't got no type of money to go. Really just rubbing in the fact that us brokies get to have no fun. Having no money can make life so boring at times. It made it hard to actually enjoy yourself. Not having money basically made it to where I was trapped inside the house all day doing nothing. I remember there were some days I was so bored in the house that I actually contemplated reading a book. Do you know how bored you have to be for the thought of reading to actually pop in your head? I literally used to just sit in the house staring at the clock, just watching the time tick by. Now granted, you could go outside and actually touch grass, but there's only so much grass you can touch before even that gets boring. Next, we got never being able to have good video games / toys. Now as a kid, two of the best things to do is either gaming or playing with toys. This is however if you're lucky enough to actually have money to afford that type of stuff. I remember it like it was yesterday. The year was 2014 and the world was going crazy over the next generation of gaming, the Xbox One and the PS4. Two consoles that will go down as two of the greatest gaming systems of all time. I remember begging my parents to buy me the PS4 that year for Christmas. There was only one problem with that. Around this time, next gen consoles costed about $400. My guy, ain't nobody get that type of money. I mean, we could barely afford a pack of Legos. But do you guys want to know what Santa bought me instead? A pack of Uno cards and some socks that weren't even my size. And don't even get me started on the sad excuse of plastic I used to play with as a kid. You know, back then we didn't have money to go to Toys R Us and get any of the new fancy toys. You know those cool toys that always popped up on TV that every kid wanted? Instead, we had to get all of our toys from one of two places, the gas station or Dollar Tree. Calling these pieces of trash toys is honestly disrespectful. I remember one time buying a Hot Wheel car from Dollar Tree and going home to play with it. Tell me why when I opened the pack and looked at the car, the two front wheels were missing. Now someone please tell me how in the world it is possible for a car to only have two wheels. Did the previous owner get into a car crash or something? How am I gonna drive this junk now? They done scammed me out of the $2.35 that I spent on this piece of junk. To this day, I still got beef with Dollar Tree. I mean, they basically scammed me. But I can't lie, there is one upside to growing up and being broke, and that's the character you develop from it. That's the grind and hustle mentality that it installs in all of us. The pure drive to one day live a better life than what you have currently. Even though the time of my life where I had no money was absolutely awful, I will say it was, and to this day still is a huge factor in me being motivated and always grinding as hard as I can. I'd be damned if I ever had to walk out the house with these type of shoes on ever again, which is why I encourage any of you currently in this predicament to go hard and stay on your grind. I promise it will all pay off in the end, and hopefully one day I and everyone watching this video can become rich and escape the life as a brokey, or maybe we'll just be broke forever, but who really knows. My bad for the motivational speech. I'll go ahead and stop yapping now, but yeah, that's about it. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new, like the video if you did enjoy, and yeah, that's about it. See ya.